Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, the challenger wearing purple trimmed with gold and weighing 146 pounds. He has an excellent professional record in 44 bouts. He has 40 victories, including 29 knockouts with only 4 losses. A native of Pensacola, Florida, now fighting out of Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former junior welterweight champion of the world, Cool Vince Phillips. And his opponent across the ring in the red corner, wearing blue with black and weighing 146 pounds. He has a perfect record as a professional, 30 bouts, 30 victories, including 25 knockouts, and he is currently ranked as high as number 3 in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, from Augusta, Georgia, presenting the undefeated NABF Welterweight Champion, Vernon the Viper Forrest.
Okay, I gave both.
How about his?
I gave both instructions in the dressing room. I gave them the same instruction. I'm telling them again, obey my commands all the time. The cuffs is riding a little high on both of you, so watch your low blows.
Rich, he's got his down, he's got his up, Rich. He has got his. He's got his up. Come on.
Questions here.
What you want to do?
Can Vince Phillips, 36-year-old legs, take him through a long fight? Can Vernon Forrest handle Vince Phillips' punch if and when Phillips can land one?
Lou Duva already complaining about the cup coming up out of the trunks of Vince Phillips.
Lou Duva doesn't ever waste any time making himself a factor in the fight. So round 1 begins. Vince Phillips told us yesterday that he believed he was definitely in shape to go 12 full rounds. Never have any of Vince's championship fights ended over the distance. They've all been knockouts. He wins 4 times by KO. He was knocked out by Ike Quartey and Teron Millette.
He's already trying that right hand, Roy.
Yeah, both of these guys are big right hand punchers, though. And Vince Phillips is coming up from 140, so he may not be quite a bigger puncher as Vernon.
When Phillips knocked out Costazoo, it was with a perfect right-hand shot right up the pipe. You give him that opportunity and you will pay.
The only problem tonight, though, that was different from that is that he's punching uphill tonight. Against Costazoo, he was punching level or downhill.
Nice jabs by Forrest.
And of course, Forrest, corresponding to what Roy is pointing out, Forrest is jabbing downhill and dropping the right hand over downhill, and you saw Forrest sneak in a right hand as he moved around in the circle.
Vince has to be very careful with that lazy jab. And there, Vernon tried to counter, but he missed him.
And when Vernon overcommitted with the right, Vince came up with a little uppercut, and there's a right hand inside for Phillips as Forrest misses with the left hand.
You know, Forrest has already taken a couple of those right hands, Roy, and he seems a little bolder now. He seems sure that he can handle any one punch of Vince's.
Oh, yeah, and he should be able to handle because he's the one who started out at 147. Vince moved up to 147 late in his career.
I'm not sure he's tasted Vince's A punch yet.
No, he hasn't tasted the A punch yet.
Maybe a B+.
It's not the A punch that Vince needs, it's the A+ fight.
Good uppercut by Forrest.
Step back, step back.
And just as Larry pointed out, Forrest allowing himself to get a little closer now to Vince Phillips as round 1 progresses into the 3rd minute.
And I think Forrest is about the best skilled welterweight in the division right now.
You do.
More skilled than De La Hoya and Trinidad.
Yes, I think he has more weapons than both of those fighters do.
Well, that's saying a lot. He hasn't really been tested at that level yet.
There's a hard right hand by Forrest that momentarily backed Phillips up. Now Vince tying Forrest up, and Forrest looking very bold now as the 1st round comes to a close.
The only weapon I haven't seen is how well he takes a punch. and how he deals with adversity. But skill-wise, I think he's right up there with those guys.
So, in your view, has Forrest been a victim of the old syndrome, too good for his own good?
That's one thing he's been a victim of for sure.
Good first round.
All right, listen to me. Hold up. I got it here. I want you to snap the jab on it. Instead of throwing too many jabs at one time. Relax with this guy. Just relax with this guy. Look, this guy, he's tired already. You understand? This guy don't got nothing for you. Listen to me. Forget trying to go to the body right now, early, okay? I want you to...
Okay? We're trying to stay outside too much. Keep stepping around to the right. Keep stepping around a little bit to the right. Hey, Jerry, what are you going to spit in? Where's the bucket to spit in? Number one. Ben, step around to the right, keep your hands up high, and quit trying to reach for them with the one shot, okay? When you're in close, stay close.
If you've never seen Vernon Forrest work, and you've been wondering what all the jibber-jabber about is, here you can see him throwing the jab, staying in close, straight right hand over the top.
Round one CompuBox numbers, 22 out of 72 for Forrest, 17 out of 80 for Phillips. So together they threw 152 punches. Phillips, of course, threw more than 100 punches per round, starting out in the heat of San Martin in the Caribbean against Ike Quartey, and eventually faded slightly as Quartey brought on the big artillery.
I think Vince fought a good round one himself. Is he going to be able to maintain this?
You saw them working on the swelling under the left eye. Vince Phillips between rounds. Of course, when you've shortchanged yourself often in the gym, as Vince has, and you've had weight fluctuations and your body fluid content changes constantly, as Vince's has, you're a little more susceptible to cutting and swelling than some other fighters.
Well, as you get older, your skin gets thinner as well, and right now there are some bruises already around the left eye of Phillips.
Hard body shot with the left hand by Vernon Forrest. Phillips blocked the right hand. Forrest finding the range with the jab.
No holding. Break. Step back. Punching it out. Break. Step back.
You need only to take one look at Forrest in the ring to see that he's longer than both Trinidad and De La Hoya. It's an unusual body for a welterweight. He's not built like a statue up top the way Tommy Hearns was, but he's similar to Hearns in his length and height and range in there. Phillips needs to get inside of that range and just misses with the big right hand.
Very hard to get inside of that range when a guy's using a good left jab as Vernon is using right now.
Good head movement inside by Vernon Forrest, dodging Phillips's big shots.
And Phillips is slipping more punches than we're used to seeing him slip too.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that if Forrest extends this fight, that's to his advantage, because it figures that Phillips won't be as fresh in the second half.
Cool Vince Phillips in the purple trunks against Vernon Forrest in the black trunks with blue trim. Forrest, who grew up in Augusta, Georgia, now lives in Atlanta, pals around occasionally with Evander Holyfield, his physical trainer. Charles Watson used to work with Holyfield. Hard right hand by Phillips as Forrest was leaning in. Left hook lands for Forrest, and another one, backing Phillips up as the second round ends.
Pay attention to me, okay? Listen. He's trying to steal a round in the last 10 seconds, okay? Look, you're winning a round easy, okay? But look, all you got to do now is start doubling over the jab, bring the right hand behind it, okay? Now look, you're trying too hard, baby. You're trying to hit this guy with something and just knock him right out, okay?
Hey, and you don't need to pull back out of range. That's what you're doing. You're pulling back out of range. Stay down at the same time. Stay within your range. You understand me? Keep pivoting and stepping around to the right. You're not doing that. catch the jab and step around, okay? Catch the jab, step around, drop the right hand underneath and back over the top, okay? Come on, baby, let's get it going. Don't try to match the width with him and try to catch him from the outside. It's too long of a reach, okay? You with me? That's what.
Phillips listening to Kenny Adams.
Good advice, Roy.
Pretty good advice. Pretty good advice.
Kenny Adams, the longtime U.S. Army boxing coach, has been a force in amateur boxing in the United States for a long time, and his work with professionals, Vince Phillips and Kennedy McKinney in particular, has been noteworthy. He's the one guy who's been able to get Vince to focus and work hard in the gym sporadically through his career. Forrest dropping in a right hand over the top, and the CompuBox story of the fight through the first 2 rounds is Vernon Forrest's jab in round 2. He landed 20 of 42 against only 3 of 45 jab connects for Phillips. That's why Kenny Adams said, don't stay out there at range and try to out-jab him.
Well, that's obvious because of Vernon's height. His height advantage. He's the outside fighter, so his jab should definitely be his key weapon in this fight.
And you saw Forrest winging hard right-hand shots to the body. 2 of those in a row. Phillips comes back with a right hand to the body on his own.
One thing that happens with the older fighters is that they lose the snap in their punches. That's when you can tell that the age is starting to set in a little bit.
Left hook by Forrest.
Good right hand by Vincent.
And Vincent lands the right hand again.
Great. Step back.
You're courting danger if you give Vince Phillips any chance to stretch out the right hand on you. You saw that uppercut, snapping Forrest back. Forrest feints with the right hand there.
I have to agree with Larry, though. The longer this fight goes, the better it is for Vernon Forrest.
Well, even on his good nights, Vince has never looked terribly steady on his legs. You know, he's always been kind of a stiff-legged fighter, Roy.
Yes, he has, but it's because he's such a strong puncher. He relies on his legs strictly for power.
Phillips's eyes beginning to show the wear and tear from Forrest's jab, and Vernon Forrest just taking his time and pot-shotting Phillips from the outside, staying at range, making it easy for himself through the 3rd.
Phillips is making him work now, though. Phillips is getting off first, and that's good for Phillips. He just can't wear himself out.
Yeah, well, this is what Phillips really wanted to do, which was to crowd Forrest. And right now, he's outworking Forrest.
Quick left hook inside by Forrest. Phillips drives a right hand through Forrest's chin, tries another one. Vernon coming back with lefts and rights of his own. Good action welterweight fight through the 3rd round. There's a solid left hand counter by Vernon Forrest. Vince Phillips trying to make it into a brawl.
He's making it into a brawl.
Kind of a Noah's Ark thing going on here with the round card girls, as the 2 round card girls have elected to work in tandem round by round.
Maybe that's a heavy card, and they need 2 of them to lift it.
Maybe. Still to come tonight, Sugar Shane Mosley's 2nd assignment in the welterweight division. The former world lightweight champion beat the stolid, strong Wilfredo Rivera in his first welterweight fight. Can he find the slick box and move Willie Wise?
We got you covered, Doc. Stay there, stay there.
The left eye of Forrest, of Phillips, I should say, tells the tale. As we go to round 4. In round 3, by CompuBox numbers, Phillips landed 18 of 58 power shots. Vernon Forrest, 16 of 34. But it's easy to speculate that a judge might have looked at that round and said, well, Phillips was so much busier, he deserves the round.
Phillips is making a good fight out of this fight.
And it's toward the end of the last round, you were right, Roy. Vince was succeeding in tempting Forrest into a brawl. If he can keep getting Forrest to trade power shots with him and get Vernon to go away from his jab, he improves his chances of winning the fight.
That's right, because his way of winning this fight is strictly by knockout unless Vernon tires. Phillips should beat Forrest's body a little bit more.
Forrest pulling Phillips down from behind the head as Vince came in. Vince losing his balance momentarily. And you're right, Roy. Phillips not working nearly enough to the body. So Forrest will have more in the bank than he might as we go to the late rounds.
I think Forrest is now waiting for Phillips to tire.
Right hand by Phillips. Now Phillips remembers to punch to the body as he gets inside, but you can see how hard Vince is working to try to get in a big right hand shot. And Forrest misses over the top with his own right hand.
If Phillips is in good shape, this is going to try to be a very interesting fight.
Uppercut inside by Forrest. Phillips lands a long right hand across the top.
I think that was an A right hand.
Yep. There's a good left hook inside by Vernon Forrest, and a right and a left, and he knocks Phillips back on his feet. Uppercut lands inside for Forrest. Phillips once again getting the action of the fight to go his way, a brawl, but taking a lot of leather from Vernon Forrest in the closing minute of the round.
Look. Keep shooting uppercuts at this guy, okay? Keep messing with uppercuts. Keep him on the outside. Keep him on the outside. As soon as he get close, then you got to go with the uppercut. Forget the overhand right now, okay? I only want straight right hands at the man, okay? But I want uppercuts. Keep shooting uppercuts at him, then give me the hooks, okay? You're trying to kill him with punches. Look, relax. Use the jab. When he get close,
sit down and plant your shots. Quit aiming for the right hand to head. If you just aim at his chest and somewhere you'll hit the target, okay? And come back to the left hook quickly, okay? You with me? Hands up. Do me something. Hands up, son. Hands up. Hands up. Hands up, son.
I don't know if Vernon Forrest is a little overexcited at this opportunity for everyone to see what all the shouting behind the scenes is about, but he's missed an awful lot of big punches, Roy. A little wild, maybe over anxious.
So let's see what Harold Letterman thinks of the first 4 rounds.
Jim, 39-37, 3 rounds to 1, Vernon Forrest. You know, I tell you, he did real well in the first 3 rounds when he kept Vince Phillips to the end of that jab. But in round 4, Vince got in, started landing right hands like he's doing now, and he hurt Vernon a little. But I tell you, Vernon Forrest, for a big guy, amazingly good defense. He slips punches. I mean, he actually ducks when Vince Phillips throws that right hand. Watch the good defense by Forrest.
I have it 3 rounds to 1 as well.
Vince threw some body shots in the beginning of this round. That's pretty good.
Phillips threw 92 punches in the 4th round. So far, he's been as good as his word with regard to conditioning.
Good barrage by Forrest.
And of course, we asked Forrest yesterday if he was excited about his HBO debut and the chance to show his wares to a larger audience than before, and he said, oh no, this is just another fight.
Right.
And again, they're trading shots at close range. And there's a big left hook inside by Forrest. And there's a right hand across the top by Phillips that lands and drives Forrest back.
Phillips is most definitely the busier on the inside. He has to watch for that big uppercut by Vernon Forrest, though.
This is still the fight that Vince needs to fight, right, Roy?
Oh, most definitely.
So Forrest is giving Phillips his chance to be in the fight. Or Phillips is carving it out himself.
Actually, Forrest is giving him a chance by letting him stay that close. But Phillips has to be careful because he's walking on the inside, and if he gets caught with a good punch while he's walking, he may go down.
As Larry pointed out, Forrest has missed a lot of big shots. Roundhouse rights, swinging left hooks. And you have the feeling if he lands one of them, things could change in a hurry.
But it takes a lot of energy to miss those big punches.
As we saw last week. Heavyweight Derek Jefferson going down.
There's a cut. Vince Phillips has a cut on his left eye. I can't tell whether it's a bad one yet or not.
I think it is.
Yep, looks like it's a bad cut.
Their heads have been close together throughout the round. It could have happened that way, or it could be a Forrest right hand that did it. Forrest trying to finish the fight with that one shot.
He's getting frustrated.
Oh, that's a bad cut. Around the left eye, Vince Phillips.
Nothing he hasn't seen before.
Cut man is Dr. Richard Lucy from Pensacola, Florida. This is your cut man, right?
Yes, he is. He's very good at handling cuts.
There he goes.
All right, here you go, Jerry.
This is a nasty one, guys.
Don't worry about your eyes, man. Everything okay, baby. You got to stay close to him now. You got to stay close to him. You got to stay close. When you get close, bend your knees. Bend your knees when you're close. Bend your knees and turn them shots under. You understand what I'm saying? Ben, please do that, okay? Bend them knees and turn them shots under and back over the top. Keep everything short, baby. Vince, no long shots. Start to put everything short. Little short 6-inch punch. Stay close to him, Vince. Stay close to him. Stay close to him.
Let's see if we can catch the punch that did it. There's an uppercut right there, which seemed to open him up.
Yep. He had a lot of scar tissue in that area. And quite frequently, it's the scar tissue area that opens up. And there you have it. Total in round 5, Forrest landing 32 out of 64 by CompuBox numbers. Phillips 17 out of 72. Forrest 29 of 49 power shots in his most accurate round so far.
I think the reason he was so accurate is because Vincent was right there for him.
So how aware is Vincent of that cut, and how will it change his outlook on the rest of the fight, Roy?
Vincent is a hard-nosed fighter. He doesn't really care about a cut. He's aware of it, but he doesn't care. Stuff like that doesn't bother him often.
Yeah, but it's a desperation time from Roy. I don't think he can go 12 rounds with that cut against a young, ambitious fighter like Forrest.
Oh, that could be true. But I'm saying mentally, he doesn't really care about it.
No, he's not going to try to protect himself, that's for sure.
No, he's not.
Vincent, he's going out on his sword in this fight one way or another. So Vernon Forrest with a lot going for him now as we near the midway point of the bout.
Right, step back.
Fight scheduled for 12 rounds because Forrest has a national type welterweight title. That's yet another advantage for Vernon. Vince might have liked a 10-round fight better.
Oh yeah, Vince seems to be getting a little tired now.
And he's caught some right hands from Forrest, who just landed 2 of his bigger shots of the fight. And now the blood beginning to flow again from the left eye of Vince Phillips. It's an uphill task for Phillips now as they reach the last minute of the 6th. And Forrest, who had trouble with accuracy in the early rounds, has begun to land with regularity with his power shots.
And he's, the inside of Forrest's mouth is now bloody.
That cut from Vincent Phillips is bleeding pretty badly now.
Right.
Phillips tying Forrest up after the right hand. Phillips showing determination and desire, but Forrest in tactical command of the fight.
get out of there.
Good uppercut by Phillips.
One thing about Vince Phillips, even on his worst nights, he's never come to do anything but fight.
He's game as they come.
Larry, a lot of people regard the welterweight division as the most loaded and talented in the sport. Tell us about it.
Well, here are the top welterweights out there, Trinidad and De La Hoya, despite the fact that they brought out the worst in each other, still on top. Page owns one of the titles, a dangerous fighter. Here's Forrest and Shane Mosley. I don't think that the top guys are losing any sleep over Vernon Forrest after having watched him tonight, but Forrest certainly can be a factor there.
Leave the overhand right alone, okay? Hey. You're not getting hit with the shot now. So look, don't try to hit him back with the shot, okay? Snap your punch. Come on, give me some fat.
You have the nuts and guts? Take charge of this. Do it.
Commission doctors looking carefully at Phillips' eye between rounds. In round 6 by CompuBox numbers, Vince Phillips was able to land only 7 out of 79 punches. So Forrest, despite being a big, tall target in there, is nifty on defense. At least he has been ever since Phillips sustained the cut.
One fighter who was not in that graphic, Ike Corte, because he is moving up to junior middleweight to fight Vargas in April.
Big right hand by Phillips. Landed flush. Forrest comes back with a hard right to the body.
Yeah, that's a good body shot.
That's one way to take away your opponent's momentum if he's got you going. Get to the rib cage in a hurry.
That right hand to the body may have taken a little bit out of Vincent.
Oh, and there's a solid right hand inside by Forrest. Backing Phillips up once again. Vince gets in his own shot. They trade at the center of the ring.
Vince is taking some very good punches here from a natural welterweight, not a guy who's moved up such as himself.
Now this is a resolute effort for Vince Phillips. This is a guy whose career is at stake and he knows it, and he's showing the determination that ought to go with an occasion like that.
Good right hand.
That one might have stung Forrest a little bit.
Forrest is big. I don't think those punches really hurt him as bad as they would a regular junior welterweight.
Get out of there. Break, step back. Work or get out. Work or get out. Pull your arms back. Pull them back. Work. Break, step back, step back. Come on, work inside and get out.
Combination by Forrest. Phillips landed a right hand. Hard right hand by Forrest. Phillips walks right through it and keeps coming as he works all the way to the bell.
And Forrest looks at him as if to say, old man, why are you still here?
Where'd you come from tonight?
All right, Vince, we're sticking with it, but we didn't do much that round. Although I thought you probably won that round, but the thing is, Vince, you're still not doing enough. You're still trying to aim at his head, and you look like you're not listening in that manner, okay? You're still aiming at the head, okay? He got it back.
Right hand, delay the right hand. Straight though, don't overhand. Okay? Now look, when the guy get close, shoot some body shots in there and some uppercuts and step around. Okay? Now that's the way we train.
Good body shot. Later in the round, some good exchanges between the guy trying to make a name and the guy trying to keep his name in boxing.
What a great scenario.
And what a tough business.
Good body shot. Off the top by Vince Phillips.
Harold Letterman persuaded to give Vince Phillips round 7, but Forrest with a working margin as we go to the 8th on the Letterman card. And you saw the CompuBox numbers between rounds indicating that Forrest has landed more than twice as many punches in the fight as has Vince Phillips.
I'm surprised that Forrest hasn't been able to do anything with that bad eye, Roy.
Oh, there's a good left hook inside by Forrest after a right and a left. So a 3-punch combination landing for Forrest there. And one of the differences between the two fighters, Phillips has been able to get in one good shot at a time. Forrest has been much more able to land 2 and 3 punches at a time.
Well, you expect that out of the younger fighter because he's a sharper puncher and he's out there to outbox the older fighter.
He's also trying to out-punch him.
And Forrest committing to some right hands here as he feels he has the chance to do damage. But in doing so, he gives Phillips a chance to come back with power shots of his own.
Yeah, and Larry, as you was asking, Vincent has a lot of experience at dealing with cuts and being cut in fights. As you know, he's been cut a few times on several different occasions.
Well, no matter what happens, Vince is showing that he is still a viable opponent for fighters at 140 to 147 pounds.
I hope for his sake he can get in the kind of shape that allows him to compete at 140, which I think is his best weight level.
I don't know if he can get down there anymore.
Very hard for him. Phillips putting up a brave fight, making Vernon Forrest prove his worth.
Good left by Forrest, good right uppercut. Back comes Phillips.
The harder you hit Phillips, the harder he punches back.
Well, I guess he's one of those guys with a thinking process. Well, if he hit me and hurt me, he must be open to be hit. Just like there.
Big right hand and a solid left hook by Forrest, and Phillips just hanging in there. You know, when a guy has battled drug addiction problems for much of his adult life, as Vince Phillips has, the stereotype is he'll quit. Vince is no quitter.
Not at all.
His addiction now, he tells us, has been Krispy Kreme donuts. a box at a time, which is why he's had to battle his weight as much as his opponents.
And incidentally, next Thursday, after you buy your next box of Krispy Kremes, tune into the show The Pros Watch. Inside the NFL, join Len, Chris, Nick, and Jerry for highlights of tomorrow's AFC and NFC championship games. And they'll preview the matchups for Super Bowl 34 from Atlanta, Georgia. Glanville, very, very funny. Last weekend on the CBS studio show when he lifted his chair and said, "I'm not giving this chair to Jimmy Johnson."
Cracked me up too, Jim.
Right hand.
Keep me in the center of the ring. Keep me in the center of the ring. Not on the rope.
Jab, jab. The guy walking right to you. The guy got nothing for you. This guy's dead tap. Round 9. Come on. Round 9.
He'd walk out of the ring with the stool and say, well, if they want to take my stool, they'll have to bring their own.
Harold, how do you have it going into the 9th round?
Okay, Jim, 6 rounds to 2, 78-74, Vernon Forrest. Jim, I think Vince Phillips only rounds 1, 4, and 7 when he did get inside and landed a couple of those nice right hands. Otherwise, Vernon just keeps him on the end of that jab, pecks away at the cut, bombs him with hard right hands. I staggered him a couple of times like now. It's all Vernon Forrest.
Well, I think now we're going into the last third of the fight, and Forrest thinks that the old guy should be ready to go.
Vince may be thinking just the opposite. He may be thinking, I've got him just where I want him now, because he's leaning in, he's committing a little bit more to his shots, he's trying to knock me out, and I might get a chance to counter with the right.
Yeah, you know, that's the mindset of a puncher. You know, I'll just stay here. If I stay here long enough, I'll get something in.
Oh, another big right hand bomb by Forrest, and again, Vince Phillips keeps coming. How frustrating for Forrest now, Roy, that he's been able to land the kind of artillery he's landed, and Phillips is still right there.
Well, he should. Oh, good body shot by Vince Phillips. He should be seasoned enough, Jim, to know that you're not going to knock every opponent out with one big punch. Sometimes it takes an accumulation. And if you're beating a guy, you should be complacent with doing. You should be, cool with just doing that and getting it over with. Don't worry about trying to knock every guy out. That's what his corner was trying to tell him. You're going for the knockout. The big punches are making you look bad because you're committing to him so much and you're missing. And they're making him tired. That's why he's holding right now. And sometimes that big punch is taking the easy way out because you don't want to work with a guy and you're trying to throw that big punch to knock him out and get it over with.
Hey, incidentally, Roy, that lengthy discussion last Saturday night between you and David Telesco in the ring, the problems of the small farmer, internet stocks on the NASDAQ, or something to do with the fight?
Something to do with the fight. Actually, some of everything was asked. I think he even asked me why was George Foreman being so hard on me in the commentary. I said maybe this is reminding him of Muhammad Ali and George Foreman back in the old days.
George, having watched Derek Jefferson fall down against David Azan and in a replay of his own Zaire experience of a quarter century before.
Knocked himself out.
I know one thing. The minute you see Azan out on his feet, bet on it. He's about to win.
If the referee don't stop the fight, you're right.
That was a strike.
So the minute you see him out on his feet, bet on him, huh?
That's all. Listen, 3 out of his last 5 fights.
Look. All right. You gotta cut the shit right now, okay? Cut the shit right now. I want you to fucking box this fucking guy in the center of the goddamn ring. In the center of the ring. Okay. Not on the ropes, not in the fucking corners, in the center of the goddamn ring. Okay? Now use the jab. The guy walking right to you.
Ronnie
You let the
Shields
guy back
has
in the
a
fight
firm
because
opinion.
you're not throwing punches now. Okay. You can't win the fight with your leaning, the guy leaning all over you and stuff.
No problem. You get, hey, everything's working for you, but you're not doing anything off of it, Vince. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed. You understand me? Look at me. Look at me. What you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? What?
Here's Forrest at a distance, still trying to land a haymaker, even though his punches simply have not had the effect on Phillips that you would think a full young heavyweight's punches would have on a fellow who's been a 140-pounder most of his career. Conversely, Phillips has landed some good punches on Forrest, and Forrest hasn't gone anywhere either.
So, all in all, you've got a pretty good welterweight fight. Although Vernon Forrest would seem to be comfortably in the lead. In round 9, Forrest only threw 54 punches, resting just a little bit. Landed 23 out of 54. He only threw 11 jabs in that round, and I think that's the reason you heard Ronnie Shields say, enough of that.
Yeah, I think Ronnie Shields was auditioning for The Sopranos in the corner of that round.
I tell you what, Doc Lucy's done a real good job on that cut from Vince Phillips.
Hadn't he, though? Has not been a factor in the last few rounds. So add Dr. Richard Lucy to the lengthening list of outstanding cut men in the sport.
Good body shot by Phillips again.
Phillips still in there. Still with a high energy level in the 10th round. Giving Vernon Forrest a stern test. But Forrest, for the most part, calmly doing what comes to him, controlling the fight with his jab, his right hand, and some pretty good counter left hooks. Good body shots there.
Work inside and get out of there.
That one hurt me.
Yeah, those were excellent body shots.
Right. Somebody watch your head.
Two good left hooks again from Forrest. Well, I had a view of Forrest as a right-hand puncher. He's impressed me with the quickness of his left hook tonight. And now the blood begins to flow from both eyes of Vince Phillips. Dr. Lucy can do his work between rounds, but during the rounds, if Forrest connects, there's nothing he can do about that.
That's right. Now Vernon Forrest went back to boxing like he should have been doing the whole time.
Yep.
Not if he wanted to make a statement as a welterweight who mattered.
But sometimes making that statement takes him right out of those type fights, though.
Monday morning, Willie Wise will be back at work at 7 o'clock in the morning as a forklift operator on Long Island. He needs the job because he needs the full-time health insurance to take care of his son. Tonight, he'll try to score another huge upset to go with his victory this past fall over Julio Cesar Chavez. A little bit later on, Wise against Shane Mosley in the main event.
As you get back, just laying stuff out, laying stuff down. Let's get with it, okay? You ain't doing out there nothing to him. Forget about him. All clean, Doc. It's all clean. Look out. Spence, look out. Let me see it. Man, are you listening? You gotta turn the punch, you loose. You can feel sorry for yourself all day. That doesn't mean a damn thing. We try to.
You always have the good jabs.
Round 11. Come on, round 11.
As he left Vince Phillips' corner, Nevada State Athletic Commission Dr. Flip Homansky took Richard Steele aside, and normally when they have that conversation, Homansky is saying to Steele, your discretion anytime.
Yeah, it looked like I saw two cuts on one eye just then.
I think there are two cuts over the left eye.
Yeah.
One outside the brow and one inside the brow. Jabs in round 10, Forrest 12 out of 43, Phillips 4 out of 34. So after throwing only 11 jabs in the 9th round, Forrest listened to Ronnie Shields' lecture and then threw 43 of them in the 10th.
I posed the question before the fight, Roy. Was main events protecting their star welterweights from Forrest, or was Forrest being protected from them? What do you think?
I think he was protecting them from Forrest myself, because they knew Forrest had a future and their time was then. Why use Forrest to take out one of their own guys who had better things to do at that time?
Well, it was really a little of both, wasn't it?
Yeah, I see that too.
Yeah. So we couldn't see the Forrest for that tree, the tree fighter.
That's right.
The tree welterweights.
Couldn't see the Forrest for the trees.
Once again, main events had Pernell Whitaker, Ike Quartey, and Jose Luis Lopez all under promotional contract at the time when Forrest was coming up, and he was never matched with any of the three.
Well, why waste him up with those three guys when they're your guys, when you can use them with guys like Trinidad and...
Well, because maybe he emerges as a star and can win a title. You know.
Yeah, but when you're main events, you have to look at it from a business standpoint.
Yeah, well, it didn't work out for Vernon Forrest's best interest.
That's why sometimes Vernon has to look at it that way, too.
Yeah.
But Vernon says that he's waited patiently and he's ready now. Plenty of time left for him, or at least that's the way he sees it.
He'll be 29 in about 2 or 3 weeks. On Lincoln's birthday.
Don't hold him, don't hold him.
When will he get his shot?
Should be soon. I'll tell you what else was good about that, though. He got a lot of valuable experience in being around those guys at their prime times.
Good point.
Come on, work.
And he has not looked so doggone dangerous here that anybody's going to say we absolutely have to stay away from it. It's a viable business proposition to fight this guy now.
That's right.
This is the second time, okay? It's the second time, okay? Come on, watch your head, okay? Let's go.
Well, despite the bloody mask, cuts above both eyes, and the tattooing he's taken from Forrest's jab and lengthy right hand, Vince Phillips stands to finish the fight. He can come out and fight the 12th the way he has the rest of the way.
Okay? Now listen to me. Come on, Joe. I'm here. Listen. Look, this guy is fucking desperate now. You understand me? He's desperate. Look, the referee shouldn't even have to break you because you're not supposed to be in there.
That's the final round, okay? I want you to keep it clean and watch your head, all right? All right.
You gotta give it your all now.
Yeah, the same thing. Don't keep doing that. Stand in the center and use the jab, okay? Vernon, he walking right to you, okay?
Vernon, listen.
Jab.
He's gonna come after you. It's the last round. He's gonna be leaning all over the place. You can do whatever.
All right, here we go. Now,
Let's go. This is for you. Come on, let's go.
The faces tell the story of the fight. You could do your scoring off the contrast in the eyes of Forrest and those of Phillips. Harold Letterman, how do you have it?
Jim, 108, 101, 9 rounds to 2, Vernon Forrest. I don't think he's lost a round since round 7, but he was won in the previous round by Richard Steele for shoving him off of that shoulder.
And it looks like he's freezing the ball right here.
So what should Vince do, Roy?
Well, he got to go for the knockout. That's the only thing he can do.
Which in his case means trying to set up a right hand.
Right, but he has to be careful because Vernon's still strong here.
Nothing to be careful about, Roy. Worst thing that can happen for you is you lose the fight.
Well, you got a point there. But nobody wants to get knocked out, though.
Should be abundantly clear to Vince he ain't winning any decisions here tonight. So the professional thing is to risk everything in pursuit of a knockout. As for Forrest, well, you heard what Ronnie Shields had to say. Richard Steele shouldn't have to break you. You shouldn't be that close. I think Forrest would love to have a knockout because he knows the difference in that credential and a decision over Vince Phillips. That's the temptation that faces him as he lands against Phillips's bloody mask. Big right hand by Forrest. Phillips worked himself into superior condition for this fight. Not the same Vince Phillips who was atrocious against Teron Millett in New York last December when he lost his February, I should say, when he lost his 140-pound title.
Here's where having one weapon can also hurt you. If he had left hook, he'd be able to make contact with the left hook because Vernon is laying to the right side.
Yep. This opinion, or this fight, change your opinion of Vernon Forrest at all, Roy?
No, it doesn't. Not at all. He's dealing with a worthy veteran here, a strong puncher, and he's basically had his way with him.
And do you still think that he is as skilled or more so than De La Hoya and Trinidad?
Yes, I do. Anytime when he's fresh, when he's fighting under his regular regime, he counter punches every time Vince comes at him. He uses the jab wisely when Vince doesn't come at him. He fights a perfect fight for me for a long-rangey guy.
Gotcha.
The whole punch to get out. Come on.
He's not like what Trinidad was in the De La Hoya fight, which was out over his front foot. You couldn't tell whether Trinidad was a rangy fighter or inside fighter.
Correct.
This guy knows what type of fighter he is.
Well said.
A good, decisive victory by Forrest, but probably not the kind of dramatic victory that he would have preferred to force his way into the top echelon of the welterweight division.
And maybe for Vince Phillips, who has financial problems, enough of a sturdy performance and a demonstrated commitment here to lengthen his career a little bit and get him a few more decent paychecks.
Maybe.
Roy, Forrest told us the story of his days as a high school track runner, 400 800 yards, and he was in a race, and the guy was coming up to pass him. He turned around and cold cocked the guy, and I guess that's when he knew he was a fighter.
That's one way to win. Harold, who's
Jim,
the 12th round to?
Okay, I gave it to Vernon Forrest once again. 10 rounds to 2, 118, 110. Vernon Forrest, like Larry says, a very decisive victory. He snipes the jab, scored hard right hands, caught Vince Phillips on the way in constantly. Vernon Forrest, every point we score on defense, aggressiveness, clean punching, everything. He just dominated the fight. Vernon Forrest deserves this one big.
And let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, HBO Boxing After Dark is famous for its battles. Tonight, another chapter has been added to its great wars. How about a round of applause for both champion and challenger as the leather flew here tonight. We now go to the Budweiser scorecards. Carol Castellano and Chuck Jampa both score the bout, 117 to 111. Gail Van Oy has it, 120 to 108. Hold the winner by unanimous decision and still champion Vernon the Viper Forrest.
So Vince Phillips was a harder rock than we might have expected, but Vernon Forrest crushed him anyway. Unanimous decision for the welterweight contender, making his first appearance here on HBO and stating his case for a higher foothold in the division's galaxy of stars. Final punch stat numbers, and you will see that Forrest landed more than twice as many as Phillips, threw slightly less, and therefore connected at more than twice as high a percentage. Vince Phillips trying, but failing to reverse the tide of the combat, as Forrest dominated almost all the way. Numbers, and of course we talked about Forrest's superior range and length, and he made it pay off, landing 93 more jabs, throwing 42 fewer, but tripling the connect percentage of the opponent, Vince Phillips. Another welterweight contender upcoming, as in our next bout, you'll be seeing Shane Mosley, once the supreme lightweight in the world, now having moved up 12 pounds. He gets ready for his second welterweight appearance. The first one was against Tough Wilfredo Rivera. This one is against Slick Willie Wise. We'll be back with that after this look at upcoming programs on HBO.